Hey you guys, and welcome to another episode of Learn Tarot with Nikki. Today we're going to be learning about the Devil card. Once again, we have the censorship on the pictures because once again they are showing pee-pee, and Nikki does not want her video taken down. So there's that. I know that a lot of people get kind of spooked out with this one, but it has its purpose. I'll show you. So typically you're going to see a horned creature resembling a satyr. Usually he'll have like bat-like wings, and he's standing over a man and a woman, and they are chained to a pedestal. So the satyr is going to symbolize the primal instincts, the desires, and the darker aspects of human nature. You know, things such as lust, greed, control, overindulgence, hostility, violence, things of that nature. Just very raw, dark, primal energy. And the chains, of course, represent bondage, enslavement, and being trapped by materialism or worldly desires. Kind of being stuck in those unhealthy behaviors. The pedestal actually symbolizes the false beliefs that we may have, materialism, or being elevated to an unhealthy level of importance. So, delusions of grandeur and grandiosity, things of that nature. The inverted pentagram signifies the misuse of spiritual energy for selfish or harmful purposes. Hate to pick on the Luciferians, but that's kind of what the tarot card is hinting at. Not using the divine energies appropriately. And lastly, we have the torch. It represents knowledge and enlightenment, but in the devil's hand, it symbolizes misuse or corruption of power. So, like I said before, this is a very dark card. It talks a lot about bondage and addiction. It does not just mean substances. It can be addiction to unhealthy relationships or unhealthy patterns, and being chained by or enslaved by these things. Materialism and temptation. It talks about excessive focus on material possessions, wealth, or worldly pleasures at the expense of spiritual growth. So kind of over-prioritizing the physical and diminishing or abusing the spiritual. Illusions and deception. It suggests being misled or deceived by appearances, false promises, or illusions of power. And the shadow self. It represents confronting one's shadow side, our fears, our repressed desires that hold us back, or that we feel ashamed of. The ones that we need to kind of make peace with or find an outlet for in a healthy way. Now, this is one of the few cards that when it's reversed is actually pretty good. It talks about being released from this bondage, breaking free from addictions and unhealthy patterns or limiting beliefs, reclaiming our personal power, overcoming our fears, believing in ourselves again, and ultimately regaining control over our life instead of allowing these earthly desires to rule us. Rebellion against conformity, rejecting societal or peer pressure, and refusing to conform to unhealthy norms. And also, most importantly, when it's reversed, it can mean a spiritual awakening. It implies that we're gaining clarity, enlightenment, or kind of understanding the deeper truths beyond materialism and superficial desires. So this card is associated with Capricorn. That's why if you've been in the spiritual community for a minute, you've probably heard the joke of people saying that Capricorn is the devil. This is where that comes from. Which is ironic, right? Because you would think that Saturn being all about righteousness and justice and karma and all that, you would not think that this card is associated with Saturn, but it is, because Saturn is there to kind of reel us back in. Saturn represents discipline, challenges, limitations, and authority. And when this card comes up, that's kind of that Saturn energy telling us we need to overcome these challenges so that we can live a better life. So, in conclusion, it's really all about bondage, temptation, and unhealthy habits. Think of the 7 deadly sins type thing. It can also encourage us to be aware of self-imposed limitations, addiction, or negative influences. It encourages us to make liberation for ourselves and have some spiritual growth so that we can be more authentic and empowered. Alright? It's not that scary, but this is a big one. If it comes up in a love reading, girl, and it's not reversed, run. That can, and I'm giving y'all little like gems here and there, right? I've seen this come up in readings where the client of mine had an amane, which is a love binding done on them by someone else, or just that very unhealthy negative soul tie is there with their person, or a person from their past that they can't let go of. It can also, of course, indicate, addiction to the trampoline. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. Just a lot of like lustful and low vibrational energy. Alright? If you would like to book your reading, you can go in my description, and my link tree will have all of the links that you need to connect with me. You can also purchase my ebook for new witches. Part 2 is on the way. I'm just trying to get through these tarot videos because every video is going to correspond with the book. So I'm very excited. But I am here if you guys have any questions, just let me know. And don't get so spooked out. It'll be okay. Alright, I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you.